Caswell Bay on Gower, and just a short walk away lies Bishop Wood Nature Reserve. And it's in the depths of these woods that a most unusual construction is underway. It's the idea of the local warden.
A couple of years ago, we had some windblown timber just up on the bank there, and some of it was a bit dangerous. So we employed a local contractor to cut them and drag them out and lay them on the grass just over there. And the intention was to have them all cut up at different sizes, for various sort of uses. And I was looking at it one day and I thought, really nice to actually make something out of it, Pulled out a bit of paper out of my pocket, penciled, did a few sketches.
Di approached me that he wanted an interesting building made in a very sensitive area. And because I come from wardening these sort of areas in the woods, then he thought I might have an inkling what to do. So we met up, and this is an old haunt of mine, an old place I used to wander, so I was delighted to be able to work here, let alone build a building here.
Work started on the Roundhouse a few months ago. The elaborate arched framework is made from unseasoned oak and sweet chestnut. It's been pieced together with great skill using ready-prepared timber.
When we arrived here, all the wood was already cut in my workshop, already cut to shape. And so all we needed to do here was a team of us came for a few days and merrily put it up, piece by piece, like a large jigsaw puzzle, really. And then all the joints were nicely put together and pegged through with oak pegs until they were nice and tight. And all the timber is green, it's full of sap, it's oozing with sap now still. So in time it will just shrink and warp, and as it does so, the whole building will just tension up and become even stronger. Well, the building you see around you now would be common to a medieval builder 1,000 years ago, Anglo-Saxon times. The cathedral builders would have built their spires using that same octagonal construction. So there's no bettering it, only I've added something that perhaps they weren't aware of at that time, more of an Eastern tradition, which is the eye in the centre of the building, and that comes from the Far East. So it's a marriage of East and West in that way.
The design that's now taking shape is a far cry from the warden's original plan, but he's delighted with the result.
I'm used to building in, using regular cut timbers, 4x2s and all this, not actual branches or the round. So therefore my building was quite, rectangular, square, sloping roof, maybe with a turf roof, which is what's going to happen here. It's going to have a turf roof on it. But yes, it would have been very square, very angular, using straight timbers. Nothing quite as grand as this.
You look at nature, and her shapes are always rounded and curved. And because the trees on the Gower are windswept and curved, it was difficult to find fairly straight trees for this job. Then they lend themselves to nice curved buildings.
He's proud of what he's achieved, but unlike most conventional designers, he doesn't see the Roundhouse as something to be revered by generations to come.
I don't want to see what's here in 50 years, 100 years' time. It's just here and beautiful for now, and that's quite nice. That's another thing of nature, the trees, they're there for 100 years, 200 years, 300, 400, and then they start dying back. And maybe buildings should die back and allow, new growth as well, and new ideas.
David says it's not just the building that's important to him, but working with such a close-knit team.
Lovely people, and that's the most important thing, the people you're working for, I find. And second to that, a paradise to work in, the woods itself. We've been camping here, listening to the dawn chorus. It's been magical, really. So, yeah, perfect.
The finished shelter will be a great asset to the community. It'll be used all year for workshops, school visits and to promote local crafts.
Now this may look like any old pig, but in fact Teresa here is rather special because she's a Welsh pig, our native breed. And now a new campaign has been launched to bring him back home to Wales. These little characters could well help save the bacon of the beleaguered Welsh pig industry. They're the latest crossbred piglets born on this farm in Chepstow, owned and run by breeder Helen Tongue.
Well, it started off with British saddlebacks, because obviously they're the pigs I knew in the beginning. And they were still in the commercial market in those days. They're a high-producing breed. well crossed with a white boar, and gave what was then the traditional blue pig. Very acceptable to the market of those days. But as fashions grew and we wanted leaner and leaner meat, the saddleback gradually faded out. But luckily trends have turned. You know, it's turning back around to having some flavour in the meat, which these animals produce. A little bit of fat is the flavour.
These are the three you've got.
So these are the three we got. Let's to start off with.
Good boys. Now, with the saddlebacks that you've got already, you're using a Welsh boar.
Yep.
On a saddleback sow?
Yep, to produce a good meat pig. Yes, a traditional meat pig of about 30 years ago called the blue pig. And
why do you call the blue pig?
Because there's a little blue dap on it.
All right. It's a labour of love for Helen. In these days of intensive farming, she's going against the grain, but she believes animal welfare is paramount.
This isn't a cheap option. The way I look after these pigs, it isn't a cheap option. I'm looking after 10 or 12 breeding sows, and you'd expect herds to be 600 or 700.